Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Tarkir Dragonstorm. Without further ado, let's get into the pack 1, pick 1. There are three really nice options here that I prefer. We've got the Windcrag Siege, solid Boros aggro rare. A little bit narrow though, you really do want to just be Boros aggro for that. Whereas the Twin Maw Stormbrood is a bit more flexible. I think it plays well in any deck that's playing either of these colors, and really well in any deck that's playing both. What makes this more flexible, I think, even for decks that are playing both colors, is it works well in the aggressive Boros ones and also the much slower, like 3-color dragon control decks or 5-color dragon decks and stuff like that too. And then there's also Soul-Tie Monument for solid flexible fixing early, but I'm going to take the Twin Maw Stormbrood as my favorite card out of that pack. Pick 2, maybe we will be playing something kind of aggressive because Shocking Sharpshooter is a pretty premium card for more aggressive archetypes in the format, particularly Boros being the strongest of them. There's other pretty solid cards here like Traveling Botanist for anything in green. Outside of that, Tawny Back plays nicely, the Kin Guard for multiple creatures off one body. Maelstrom the Spirit Dragon, nice once you have a really premium dragon to fetch, and I would count Twin Maw Stormbrood as pretty close. So Maelstrom is fine here too, but I like the Shocking Sharpshooter. Pick number 3. This pack is way less exciting than the first two. There's a Gurmag Rakshasa for fine filler top end in black. The thing I don't like about this card is most decks, their good top end is just going to be some random dragons. So I don't think you're ever really hurting for more decent 6-drops like the Rakshasa. But honestly, outside of that, there's like a Temur Tawny back. The rest is just super filler. There's bad filler here that you would almost never play, like Watcher, Nest Guard, Lightfoot Technique, Stillness in Motion. And there's good filler too, like Aggressive Negotiations, Stormshriek Feral, but it's definitely all filler. I think I'm just going Tawny back here. I don't foresee a Mardu deck wanting a double black 6-drop finisher, even if we do go in that direction. And since we took a great Temur card, we have that flexibility of moving towards the Temur archetype with Mammoth Bellow. 2 5/5s off one spell, really, really nice for that. The tokens are definitely fragile in this format. There are plenty of bounce spells in blue, but this is still a pretty great deal. I like that over Dragonclaw Strike. The problem with Dragonclaw Strike, there's tons of good, cheap, instant speed removal, and blowing up your creature in response to trying to Dragonclaw Strike is going to get you killed real fast. It's just a huge 2-for-1 against you. So we'll take the Mammoth Bellow on that one. Pick 5, Piercing Exhale towards Temur or Mardu Monument towards Mardu. I think we just take Piercing Exhale. Every single card we've taken so far fits into Temur. We get to play the Twin Maw Stormbrood just as the Charring Bite, even without a single white source in the deck. Pick number 6. Equilibrium Adept is solid value, so that's a decent option. And it's a nice card to have if we manage to pivot back towards Boros, which I think is unlikely, but I think it'll still be okay in Temur. The competition is pretty fierce, though, with Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon as a way to prevent Flood and just pick up a good dragon later. So I'm going to take Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. This is particularly great if we open up one of the rare dragons by the end of the draft. So I'll speculate on that one. I think that was late enough to do so. Pick 7, Fine Fill Removal like Narset's Rebuke here looks best to me. Pick 8, very unexciting pack. I don't think I'll be playing any of this, but maybe trade Root Envoy. Pick 9, find blue interaction with Riverwalk Technique. The counterspell part of this is surprisingly relevant, surprisingly often. A second Temur Tawny back, that looks awesome. Yeah, getting a second Tawny back like that late, I don't think there's a huge reason to go anywhere but Temur for now. But we'll see what we open up as we move into pack 2. Pick number 1 here. Pack 2, pick 1. Very filler pack. I'm just going to take the Tri-Land, I think. Inoc Wayfarer is pretty nice on the curve. Make sure we keep hitting land drops. It's definitely what we want out of a 2-drop in this kind of deck, but literal perfect tri-land. And not a whole lot else. Good card for Boros aggro with Stalwart. Decent white removal spell. But yeah, there's nothing really exciting in the rare uncommon slots here. Side of Bivouac. So we'll take it. Pack 2, pick 2. I've had a lot of great Frostcliff Siege decks early in the formats. A lot of those involved having flyers. This deck has none of those. Kind of green-red splash blue version of Teamer here, which is interesting. Just full aggro. So it also might be a little while till we hit the blue source on this. Still fine. But do I take it over Swiftwater Cliffs for a great on-color land here? I don't think I'd take it over Swiftwater Cliffs here. Do not think this deck is super good at utilizing it. I think the better half is the ability to consistently draw cards. And this deck is not doing that. Pick 3, Roiling Dragonstorm is just an awesome spell if you have 1 or 2 dragons in your deck. Ideally a little bit more than that. But 2 mana, draw 2, discard 1. If you recast that 1 time, turn this into a draw 4, discard 2. That's really, really good. Recast it twice, and it's just insane. Teamer Monument's definitely also good, but I love the Dragonstorms. I'm going to take that really highly. Gets me a little deeper on the blue, maybe like blue-red splash green. We'll see. Pick 4. Looks pretty weak for everybody but the Marty player, Marty Devotee, and Reigning Victor on ice. Just another Riverwalk technique, I guess. Another Meticulous Artisan. Something pretty filler, whatever we take. Grab another technique there. Here's a Dragonstorm Globe. Help us splash for Karu Goldkeepers if they keep going pretty late here. Help us draft more dragons to go with our Dragonstorm. I don't mind it. Okay, gotta take Glacial Dragon Hunt for sure. This card is awesome. 2 mana, draw a card, discard a card, deal 3, and you can harmonize it, recast from grave, and do it again. Pretty ridiculous. Sibsig Appraiser is also awesome. Why are pick 6 and pick 7 just way cooler packs than the rest? Jeez, sorry. Come on in, Sibsig Appraiser. Also, that Channel Dragonfire is not bad at all either. 1 mana, deal 2, and then you can flash it back later, deal another 2 with the harmonize ability. Wild packs here late. Here's another Teamer Tony back. Just play all these in the world. These are my threats. Just play a bunch of 4/3s. Pick 9, a Thornwood Falls. I like that better than the Village here to get some fixing in. Pick 10. I'm a big fan of Focus the Mind. Don't have a whole bunch of instants here to go with it, but it's still very good draw. There's a Boulderborn Dragon, go with my Dragonstorm Globe and my Roiling Dragonstorm. Okay, pack number 3, let's find some solid filler Teamer. Ideally stuff that's better than filler. Most of our deck is filler. Quarry Steelcutter is better than filler. So long as you can flurry for this card, it is really good whether you're aggressive or defensive. Just so much value. If you flurry 1 time, you if you flurry 1 time, you essentially spent 2 mana for a 2/2 trample haste that leaves an equipment behind, which is already a good deal if you flurry just once. So it's really easy for this card to go way, way crazier than that, especially with cards like Dragonstorms. Those flurry really easily. Dragonstorm Globe flurries easily because you play it and get 1 mana back out of it to spend on something else. If we get any monuments, those help flurry, even in slower decks. Speaking of flurrying, now we can get a 1/1 flyer every time we do so with Wingblade Disciple. I like Kishla Skimmer too, but I don't think we are removing cards from our grave quite enough for the Skimmer to be a super good card draw engine. But still, the 2-mana 2/2 flyers is good too. I just only have one Harmonize card right now, so I like Wingblade Disciple better. Pack 3, pick 3. Jeskai Devotee is not bad. It gives us another early play to be able to flurry a little more often, and it fixes blue and red. But the Quarry Mountain Monastery, another land that's really nice when we're flooding. I mean, honestly, Monastery is probably the best of the anti-flood lands. Because it just full-on draws you cards later. Yeah, I'll take the Monastery over the Devotee. Pick 4. Unending Whisper, very, very easy to flurry with this card, and it's fine even when you're not flurrying, just for a little bit of value. That or an Earth Carver at the top of the curve look good here. I'm going to take the Whisper. Another Mammoth Bellow. We could also splash in a New Way Forward. I like the second Mammoth Bellow. It's just going to be a lot more consistent. 6, Molten Exhale, beautiful removal. Come on in. Pick 7, another Frontier Bivouac, great fixing. Mana base is set here. Might actually cut this Maelstrom because we didn't end up getting any spicier dragons. Get the Kishla Village too, might as well, I guess. Super good at preventing flood. Triple Bivouac? Stone Cold perfect mana base? Yeah, I already have double Mammoth Bellow for finishers and multiple lands that prevent us from flooding out in the late game, so I don't think Earthcarver is insanely important. Or the 3/2 that picks up an instant or sorcery. We're not super, super good at like picking up cheap removal in this deck. Because we're not good at having like cheap removal in grave. A little low on it. Looks like blue, red, splash, green. Alright, I mean, this deck will be fun. That's for sure. Doesn't look insanely powerful. All of our power is in, like, flood prevention mostly. Multiple rare lands, 3 different ones. The Monastery, the Village, and the Maelstrom, which is really funny. Yeah, I think that's the best aspect of this deck, is the mana base. We have really good mana fixing, and we have very good mana flood prevention off of these lands too. But the spells themselves, I mean, you all saw the packs. Outside of this really strong Quarry Steel Cutter, it's just like a bunch of solid filler. But that's kind of what the packs were, a bunch of solid filler. So that's the deck we end up with naturally. Kind of really riding on the power, or banking on the power of the Steel Cutter here. Which makes me want to keep the curve pretty low to be able to flurry very well. I have to cut 7 cards here. 3 Riverwalk Technique might be a little high. Really do not like Agent of Kodos much. Or Devoted Duelist, honestly. The flurrying kind of calls for it. And our deck doesn't have a lot of great powerful top-end spells because we just didn't find any in the draft pod. I kind of run more like solid top-end filler like Earth Carvers, but we didn't get any good top-end bombs or anything. So we get outclassed in the late game by decks that just have rares and mythics. So that makes me kind of want to try to play for the early game harder because we don't have any counter spells to compete in the late game either. So it makes me want to play some more filler cheap cards just to try to outrace decks with better late game than this. I think that's reasonable. So I'm going to do that. Just focus up on the early game and still have decent top end here. Probably cut this Dragonstorm. Only one dragon that I'm not casting super often because I just have the Globe and the Maelstrom for it. I'm probably supposed to cut the Maelstrom too, because if I draw Stormbrood before I draw the Maelstrom, then this is just a colorless land. It's just bad mana and nothing to tutor. Yeah, we'll cut that in the Maelstrom. And then put back 15 blue, 11 red, 7 green. 10 blue. 8 red. 6 green. 10, 8, 6 right now. I'm gonna put another red source in because we do want that red really early. So then it's a 10, 9, 6 split. That sounds right. All right, very aggressive teamer deck here. I was pretty happy to be in teamer. I don't think we saw anything super powerful in the draft pod flying around that we didn't manage to pick up here. So I think we ended up with the strongest cards we could have picked up out of this draft pod. I'm not incredibly pumped about the power level of this deck when I'm not drawing Quarry Steelcutter. But again, I think this is about as strong as it could be. And when we are drawing Quarry Steelcutter, it's going to be super devastating. So I don't know. We will see how it plays out as we hop into the gameplay. Here we are on the play for game 1 with perfect mana. Thank you, Frontier Bivouac. Curve out with Duelist to start it out. Some haste damage in. There's Einok Wayfarer from our opponent. Pretty annoying for Devoted Duelist. It's only got 1 toughness. So now we go Sib, Sig, Appraiser. It's also only 1 toughness, so it's really annoying into the Wayfarer. I guess I need to just jump into the sky here then. Hoping for no cheap removal from our opponent. They have cheap removal. Oh, Channel Dragonfire is also gross because it's the 2-for-1 with the Harmonize ability. Well, so much for any aggro here. We are getting completely walled off. Tons of cheap interaction from our opponent. And cheap blockers at the same time. They've also got the great rare for card draw with Winter Night Stories. Here's another rare. Buffing up their board every turn. Ay. Alright. Another Sultai Devotee. I guess Duelist is trading into Wayfarer here to get some damage in elsewhere. Sib-Sig Appraiser, incredible card. We played our own here. Pretty happy with it. Gonna harmonize the Winter Night Stories for the draw 3 discard one. No, they are not going to do that. Okay. Another Mammoth. Charring Bite, the biggest threat. Play the tap land. Rebuke an Elephant. And Winter Night Stories. All this Death Touch is, excuse me, has been really rough for our attacks. The multiple devotees. Renewed onto the Appraiser to get it out of reach of the Dragonfire there. Lord have mercy on me. Opponent is on card quality, the deck. Holding this up as a blocker doesn't even do much because they just menace the best threat. But I'm at 9, so I don't got much of a choice. Team Bertani back, draw land, discard a land, as you do. We are dead here. They just get to menace the devotee and then shoot me for 2 with Channel Dragonfire. Yeah, not much to be done there. They just had a very good start against our aggressive start. Tons of cheap creatures and cheap removal spells. Really high card quality in the late game with all the card draw from Appraisers and a couple great rares. Not much to be done, and that is 0-1 heading into game 2. Here we are on the draw for game number 2. We don't got a lot going on in this hand. We do have what you need early, a couple early blockers and removal spells. Lead with the sharpshooter here. Yep, agent would not be attacking through that thing. A Charring Bite that. Molten Exhale can kill flyers as well. Charring Bite cannot kill flyers, and they are a blue deck. There are some pretty good flyers. Such as the smaller dragons. But also potentially I think I have the counter unless we pay 2 here. Potentially like the 2/2 flyer with flurry. There's not a huge difference between 2 damage a turn and 3 damage a turn just now. So I'm gonna lead with the agent to play around the counter. It looks like they were just stuck off the mana. Now you just Molten Exhale the Pummeler, play Appraiser, draw a Tawny back. We're doing the thing. Embermouth Sentinel put a land on top of their deck. And Sultai Devotee. Alright. Cool with me. Play the creatures pre-combat here, so if they want to trade Devotee into Sharpshooter, they got it. I've got multiple more Tawny backs in here. I'm going to hold on to this land. Oh, Tarkir Dragonstorm, the land of the bombs. Well. Six flying lifelink does blank our entire game real quick if we don't find a solution. Guess I keep Tawny back since it can just cycle into the potential solution. If I attack here, I'm just letting them gain 6 and kill one of our creatures. They counteract every single point of damage that I deal off of their block while killing my biggest attacker. I could like attack with both the agents so that then I get to buff Tawny back and try to attack with that as a 6-power creature, but if I attack with the agents and then they just crack back with Tevel like this, then we just know they're not blocking with Tevel anyway. For me to use the 6-power creature trying to attack him. Okay. Really not bad. Please don't untap Tevel. Oh god, if they have one of those green removal spells where target creature you control deals damage to something else with a 6-power lifelinker. Go to 3. Still definitely a lot of cards that can just win this for our opponent, but we have a ton of power on this board, so it is very possible we just get the kill next turn. Any of the cards that let their creature shoot one of ours and gain life would save them. They would, let's see, it'd be the 2-mana removal, so they would take 2, go to 7, but then Tevel deals 6 to the 5, and they go back to 12, and I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on board, so I wouldn't be able to kill them through that spell. In fact, they could even use Champion of Doosan to put a 7th power onto Tevel before they do it to gain 1 more life. Although at that rate, I think they would have done that pre-attacks. Oh my god, okay. That was really lucky that we dodged the green removal spells, because the common or the uncommon removal spell out of green would have saved them there. The green exhale and the knockout blow out of green that's uncommon, or the teamer uncommon that doubles your creature's power and then fights, that would have won them the game. And that's a hybrid mana one, so they could cast it for a green, a blue, and 2, even though they don't have red mana. Oh, All right. Really, really close game of Magic. I mean, we were one turn off from just dying. If they got one more swing in, they could have put the 2++1 counters on it and then got that last swing in and we'd be dead. So they did have the 2 counter renew card. All right. We don't have to go 0-3 twice in a row. We got at least one win this time, which feels good. This hand is pretty nice on the play. Hopefully we find a better matchup for our 1 toughness cards than we've had lately. First 2 rounds both seeing Inoc Wayfarer, the 2-mana 1/1 that draws them a card. Makes our Agent of Codices look really bad. Okay, Bearer of Glory is not bad at all. That is a perfectly fine trade for Agent of Codis. Play to the board, the highest power creature we can. Temur Tawny back. Ditch the tap land, I think. My least favorite card. It annoys me so much every time it gets cast. Doesn't matter how good it is in the position, what's going on. I see an aggressive negotiations getting passed, or getting cast, and I get aggressively annoyed. Furious Forebear. Forebear is really, really good on blocks here. Pretty annoying. They're low enough on life here. I'm going all in. Hate these draws. We're certainly flooding. They have the cheap removal for the 4/3. So I'm going to need the Monastery to do some really good work here if we flood any harder. There's the 3 toughness blocker for the 2 power creatures. But there's the Dragon Hunt. I have to top deck a non-creature for this to actually shoot Pack Beast. Either way, it's better than just using Monastery, because if I just tap out for Monastery, I don't get to play the Monastery card till next turn, period. But if I Dragon Hunt, I still have 4 mana up for anything I draw into. Or if it's the Globe, I can just ditch it. Hit for 4 or hit for 2 and gamble on the draw. I mean, the draw is good either way. Whether or not I'm killing something with this draw, the draw is good. Okay, that draw's really good. Oh my god, that was the best blind Glacial Dragon Hunts I think I could have gotten. Wow. I mean, I guess if I hit the Mammoth Harmonized spell, that would have been a little better than discarding a random Globe. But still. Ooh. A Duelist here too? Go big damage, or I can just start going full card draw mode. Do both. I can go a little bit of damage and go card draw mode. On board, I attack all. They trade into Devotee and put the 3/1 in their hand. So they've got the 3/1 in their hand and the Devotee to come back from grave later. I think it's too easy for them to just grind out kills on all my attackers for me to want to send this in, especially when they have an instant. If I didn't have the Mountain Monastery, I would probably have to just go for it, use the Agent's ability and just jam out here. But because I have the Monastery, I can go for that instead. No, not my Agent. Rude. Main deckable graveyard hate. Mountain, Tawny back. Why couldn't this have been the other way around so I could discard this mountain for whatever Tawny back finds? You hate to see it. Absolute tragedy. Goodbye, top card of my deck. Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter been pretty good here. Oh my god. They are turtling up. This is the last thing I expect from Mardu. 3-5 and a 3-4. Land again. And another land. Woo! Go for the three-peat, baby. Make them redraw the Death Gorger here. And then combat trick or removal spell the Tawny back. They have the hexproof trick in hand? Maybe. If they have the hexproof trick in their hand, it's +2/+2 hexproof lifelink, and attacking is terrible. If that's what it is. Attacking isn't even that good if they don't have a trick, you know. Welcome back, Death Gorger. That's such a good hit. Oh. Could flurry real easily. Next turn as well. I forgot we had this card in our deck. That explains a lot about agents and devoted duelists being in here. Block, block, block. They take 4. No, we just flurry them out next turn. Get a ping, get another prowess token. Yeah, let's just start flurrying every turn. Mammoth Bellow. If I do that, I don't have Monastery mana up. I want to have Monastery mana up pretty bad. Duty Beyond Death. Back a creature, +1/+1 indestructible to everybody. Okay. So that's what they had, not the hexproof trick. Fair enough. Block. Block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is on-board lethal if they don't have another like removal spell or trick here. And they crack back for 8 if it isn't lethal. This might be too bold, but here I am. Do they have the indestructible trick and the hexproof trick here? No. They're just tapping their own Death Gorger. Fair enough. Corey Steel Cutter saves us in the end. Make sure that we still get the extra damage through that we need to wrap up that game. That is 2-1 now, heading into game number 4. Solid hand here, game 4. We do want a green source for this Night Watch to be castable on turn 4, but we've got good early removal with Glacial Dragon Hunt. Might even just discard the Night Watch since it's difficult to cast here. But now I've got Unending Whisper, that's a good discard. Uh-oh. Some pretty poopy draws. Teamer, mirror match. There's Dragonstorm Globe to ramp them up. No black source, so we have to wait till 5 mana for Night Watch. Tuned Hunters here. Down to 18. Boulder Born Dragon 4/4 flyer. Sure, I'll slow them down. Get them recasting that next turn. Here's my blocker for the Attuned Hunter. Boulderborn Dragon's back. Steel Cutter. Dragon Hunt. Could Steel Cutter and Whisper. So I don't like having to discard Narset's Rebuke if I don't draw another non-land. Feels worth it. Good draw. So we're going for the Steel Cutter game plan again. Now I can rebuke the Boulderborn Dragon and Stormbrood the Attuned Hunter. Storm Plane Detainment. Exile the Steel Cutter is annoying. Yeah. Our single prowess monk's still gonna put in work though. Snakeskin Veil? Ew. Sergeant Fall. Also pretty annoying. Quarry Mountain Monastery here to do some great stuff again. Down to 6. Okay, that's unironically kind of clutch here. So now I can do this. That's pretty insane. Dragonstorm Globe OP. try to go for lethal in one swing. Alright, they're over it anyway. Be flooded out or something over there. That is 3-1. At least a 50-50 record with this deck, no matter what. Feels pretty good. Again, I think the deck looked mostly average overall. But lots of great value from Quarry Mount Monastery and our Quarry Steel Cutter. I guess this is the Quarry deck. Alright, here we are for game number 5. Solid opening hand drawing. The blue source makes it even better. Now I can actually play a Tawny back on turn 3 and try to get that early damage in. Sultai Devotee starts it off. I will exhale that to get the Death Touch out of here. Also keeps them off blue and black. Potentially. Another Devotee. God dang it. So much for getting the 4-3 in. Lead with Sipsig Appraiser then. Okay, grab the untapped worse. Just in case. Between a Frontier Bivouac and a Dragonstorm Globe, I don't think I'm going to have trouble hitting multiple sources of each color. Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon, if they've got a great rare or mythic dragon, that is terrifying. So you get to tutor it out no matter what. Sultai Monument for even more fixing. Praise it up. Here's Agent of Kotus. That's also a super fine trade for Sultai Devotee. Alright, crack the Sultai Monument to hold off the 2-1s. Sure, we're gonna have to break through all this stuff at some point. Stormbrood with a Dragonstorm Globe out. Pretty thick. Discarding Agent of Kotus would not be terrible there. If I really want to discard it, I can still discard it to this next Tawny back anyway. Take the flying damage here down to 15. Focus the Mind. I kind of forgot I have one of those. Pretty nice. Well, our board looks good here, but they are a 5-color deck that, like, anything in the whole set is castable for them right now. So I have concerns for sure. I guess we'll see what they've got here. Oh, you know what's gonna happen? They're just gonna crack Maelstrom and then kill me with a Mythic Dragon next turn if they have one. If they have a bomber that's a dragon, they get to tutor it out right now and then kill me with it next turn. Here it goes. Do they have the Areni? They have a Scavenger Regent to wipe the whole board. Wow. Yeah, turning a Maelstrom into a tutor for a one-sided board wipe is extra gross. Just destroy all non-dragon creatures. Yep. Your turn too late, Riverwalk technique. My important draws cheap enough to surveil pre-draw. I've still got another like Mammoth Bellow in there, so I've got other 5 drops that would matter. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 plus tap. I'd have 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. I would have 5 up after. So yeah, I could cast literally anything after I surveil, so yes. Psych Bullet is, I guess. Don't believe I can afford to try to wait till I can flurry. I think I have to play it now and then put 4 counters on it to have a 6/6 blocker next turn. It's going to require almost all my mana next turn. Storm Brood. Swing the Hunter in. We are dead to a removal spell and 1 extra point of damage. Okay, well that makes flurry impossible. If I flurry here and get the Chumper, I don't get the double buff the Disciple. I guess I can and then harmonize with it. I don't get to have it up on blocks here. It's awkward. Just the Chump block this turn. But again, it's not on board lethal yet, regardless. We have the Stormbrood for the 5 toughness flyer, the gain 5 flyer, or the potential flurry next turn if I draw another spell alongside it. They have the tap a blocker. Do they have tap a blocker plus combat trick? Cool, then we are dead no matter how we play that turn out. 3 and 2 it is. We just got absolutely crushed by the tutorable one-sided board wipe our opponent got on us there. 3 and 2, head into game number 6. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 6, 3, and 2 right here, right now. Brain fart. I guess I keep this, but we do pretty desperately need a blue source. But since we are on the draw, I think it's probably a fine keep here, starting with our duelist. We're also on like 10 blue sources in this deck. So that is the primary color. Yep, 10 blue sources between all the bivouacs for fixing. 11 when you count the globe as well. Our opponent's on 4 color. Drawn exclusively blue spells so far, which are the worst draws in the deck right now. At least our opponent's not putting us under any pressure yet. Play the draw 2. Those are really awkward draws for our opponent. They got a Kish the Trawlers and a Riverwalk technique, so they just get a 3-2 or 1 bounce spell. There's the blue source for us. Perfect. Just in time to bellow next turn if we want to do that. Alright, Duelist trades up into the 3-2 body. Oh, they're really looking for mana, it looks like. So they pass through. Seemingly heavy blue over there where they could easily have counters here. I do not want to get Mammoth Bellow countered at all. But at the same time, my second best spell is so much worse than Mammoth Bellow right now. I think I just try to play the best spell I can. Except they don't have a counter spell here, and I just play an Agent instead of a Bellow. An infinitely weaker turn. Playing Agent instead of Bellow does let me set up to have double blue on a future turn, though, to double spell more easily. That would probably be the biggest argument for it. Sun Pearl Kieran, get a 2-1 flyer down. And they poke us in the sky, we're down to 19. Jeskai Brushmaster, that's scary. Double Strike Prowess can stack up very quickly to an unreasonable amount of damage. Still kind of think I have to Bellow while I know I can. Take 1 Brushmaster hit, but then we'll have our interaction up, thanks to having double blue up. Constrictor Sage, that is very good. Another threat on the board and lock down our blocker. Yikes. Okay, we've got double Riverwalk technique, but I only have the mana to use 1 of them. Could use 1 and play an Agent of Cotus, that is not bad. I think I want a Riverwalk technique while they're tapped out, as they do seem somewhat deep into blue. Okay. Been a pretty interesting game so far. Six damage over here. 7, 8, 9. Down to 4. Unending Whisper, draw a card. One damage from lethal here. If I can find anything. Shoots them. They got another flash creature they got me here. Or if they have a burn spell to Faith. The two lines that I could have seen there was attack with only these, and then Riverwalk Technique the Kieran. In which case, I die to them having removal for agent and hitting me for 4. Or just attack all 3 in Riverwalk Technique the Sage, in which case I die to them having something that shoots me for 2. Oh, I guess there's a third thing I should have done, which was do this before combat so I can see if they have the counter unless I pay 4. Yeah, I blanked on that entirely. If they have the counter unless I pay 4, they got it. We should have done this pre-combat. Okay, they don't. I do think I'm supposed to do that before their turn, so that... Wow, okay. I think that kills me no matter how I play it. Unless I hold literally everybody back. I guess if I hold everybody back and they attack with Kieran, and then they try to give it +2/+2 while I still have Riverwalk Technique up, maybe we don't die. But if they just play it safe there, and they just hold off, and they're like, okay, well, I'll just deal 2, that's still good. And then I try to Riverwalk Technique. If I'm the first one to blink there, then I still just die. Yeah, I mean, +2/+2 lifelink hexproof. Don't think there was a high chance of victory there. And a lot of lines get crushed by that. Alright. Is what it is. 3 and 3 today. Very average run for a very average deck overall. Yeah. Is what it is. I will take it. Today's recording session for me has been 7-win, 7-win, 0-3-3-3. So that balances out to a decently positive record for the day. Pretty much my usual average win rate. So we take those. Not the most exciting deck, not the most exciting draft, but some solid, reasonable stuff out of the draft pod. So we build a solid, reasonable deck and get a solid, reasonable record. That is 3 and 3 for today's record. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and are interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.